Welcome to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever seen a horse who could talk? With your host, Louisa Barton, who really wants to be a famous rider. She really loves to ride fast. Presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care.
Truth is, I have horses with people problems.
Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton. Enjoy the show.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Happy Halloween!
Welcome to the Horse Talk Show presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the studio with dancing Pete Roeder from Complimentary Horsemanship in his costume.
Oh! No, I came in green, so I was going to be the head of the horseman. There it is, see? For some reason, it just turns my shirt black. That's why we tell people not to wear green.
Isaac, that was really good.
I'm the head of the horseman instead of the headless horseman.
I see. Well, anyway, I could have.
And what are you?
I'm a red coat.
You mean a pirate? It looks like a pirate to me.
Dear Americans who are friends of mine, who I love dearly, need to do some history.
Oh, okay.
You've watched way too much Pirates of the Caribbean, apparently, and you saw pirates who had stolen red coats from red coats that they had. Yes.
And why did they wear red coats?
Because they were the Brits.
But why did they wear red coats? So if they get shot and they were bleeding, none of their men would know it.
I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the Horse Talk Show news. Don't forget, it is Piranha's Golf Tournament.
Woohoo!
Very excited. Piranha Animal Health has their Family Foundation Benefit Golf Tournament, and that is on November the 3rd.
That's Friday, so if you're listening to the radio, it's already been.
It's already happened. If you're on 97.3 The Sky, you missed it this year, but not next. 3 wonderful charities that are going to benefit from this. Heart of Florida Youth Ranch, Gentle Carousel Miniature Therapy Horses.
Canines for Warriors.
Wonderful. Thank you to Piranha. Come down to the Country Club of Ocala if you want to watch some exciting golf and cheer them on. Golfing with Ted Potter.
Oh, you wouldn't let me say it.
I know, I got it for you. Don't forget the Horse Farms Forever has their summit coming up November 16th. Always a wonderful event. I don't know if I can say this. A conversation about conservation.
Wow, that's a lot for
I know,
Brit.
Right. Well, very funny. They have a wonderful keynote speaker who's going to be speaking about the endangered Florida panther, which is a little bit different a topic than normal, but pretty exciting to hear about that.
That sounds fun.
I know. Well, it's interesting because it's really a very, very touchy subject and definitely needs to be dealt with, in Horse Farms Forever addressing that. That's November 16th from 5 to 7 p.m. So make sure you get your tickets. They're $40, and you can go to horsefarmsforever.com for those.
Out west, they call that a mountain lion.
Mountain lion. Stirrups and Strides has their phenomenally fun event coming up, and they're actually with us in the studio. So we're thrilled to have Betty and Kathy with us to talk about their upcoming event. So they'll be with us, and that will be after Dr. Kayot is on talking about drug testing. And we're going to talk a little bit about drug testing because it is Breeders' Cup week and Breeders' Cup weekend, and we have an extra special show in addition to the regular show, which is the Ocala-Marion County Connections to the Breeders' Cup, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital.
Are you going?
I am, and Larson Hay. Also sponsors CEP's Equine Initiative, Seminole Feed Stores, the Ocala Dog Ranch, and Equus Television, who will be covering the adventure. It's always an adventure.
Because the first time I did the show by myself is when you went to the Breeders' Cup.
Oh, you did it so well.
Oh, okay,
You
thanks.
did. So anyway, the coverage it's incredible because over half of the horses that are in these races Friday and Saturday are connected here. It's amazing. Almost
How do we get
two-thirds of them.
the letters on their silk so that we know? Money? The camera wasn't on, so they didn't see you do that.
Probably quite a bit, yes. Yes, probably quite a bit. I have some other exciting news. For those of you who know that I have my real estate license, it's actually been inactive for about a month or so, and I have decided to join a wonderful company here who have their new building downtown in Ocala. I'm very excited to join this wonderful team, Engel and Volkers.
Oh,
Very,
wow.
very excited to...
How do you say it?
Engel and Volkers, Ocala. So I'm very excited to join them. They are a wonderful company, national known all over. There's the team at the Hobby Horse Equestrian Games, photo by All About You Photography. And imagine that, because we actually have All About Photography in the studio tonight, All About You Photography.
Wow.
We have Julie Bartoli here with us, who took all these lovely photos. And she's going to chat a little bit about taking pictures of horses and her career. And we're going to see the wonderful photos that she took at the Hobby Horse Equestrian Games. But this wonderful team at Engel and Volkers is where my real estate license, as you know, I only do it, those of you that follow me, only do it part-time, and it's my third thing.
Your third job?
My third thing, yeah, so I don't do a lot, but they're a great support team, and I am really excited to be connected with such wonderful folks who really, really seem to genuinely care about what they do and their clients, and that's the most important thing to me. So I'm excited to be joining them, and excited to make the announcement, and you'll see some more adventures coming up for that. And then our pet.
Where are they from?
They're local.
Oh, they're local?
Well, the company's national, but
Okay, but what country is it from?
Well, I imagine it must be German.
Well, German, Switzerland.
Good question. We need to know.
Yes. Inquiring minds want to know.
Inquiring minds want to know. They actually gave me a book to read the whole history of the company, so I have to just get on it in my spare time. We are going to do our Open Hands Animal Rescue Pet of the Week. Look at that. This is a problem for me. Anything with 4 legs. Grady is so incredibly amazing and cute. So Grady is the Open Hands Animal Rescue Pet of the Week. Look at those eyes. Grady. I know, stop, Louisa.
Yes,
anyway,
stop,
Grady
please.
needs a home, so you can find Open Hands Animal Rescue on Facebook. You can reach out. Most likely you'll talk to Tammy Lady, who does such a wonderful job finding homes for these animals, fostering so many of them herself. And look at what a cute face that. If you're on the radio, you need to go to Equus TV or Facebook so you can see this cute face. So Grady needs a home. I know there's somebody out there that would like to have Grady. Look at that face. Sorry, I'm. So if you're watching us live, it's Halloween. You may be out trick-or-treating or doing something scary. But if you're listening on the radio, of course, we're already past it because we're Saturday morning. But we have lots of exciting stuff on this show for you to share this week. And I'm really excited to tell you that in the coming next couple of weeks or so, we will have a wonderful interview with Master Farrier Jack Montgomery. We're going to be covering some really interesting topics about horses' feet. I know that we have a big listenership in the ag colleges and things across the country, and being able to have this kind of information on the podcast will be absolutely priceless. We'll have the first one. We'll actually be talking about laminitis and some of the methods used, and I was absolutely thoroughly blessed today to see my little pony or miniature horse, whatever he is.
Miniature penny?
Yeah,
pony?
miniature pony, whatever he is.
Whatever he is.
Actually get up, buck, and run comfortably for the first time since I've owned him. So,
Wow.
But yeah, amazing. So I had the Jack Montgomery team, Michelle and Merida out there today. Merida helped very well so I could film lots of important things. She did an amazing job. So it was really exciting to see Jack's face as he leant on the fence like, oh yeah, I knew this was going to happen. And it was great. I mean, it was wonderful to see him comfortable. So we've got to wrap it up, but we're going to come back with Dr. Kayot, and he's going to be Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital in complete care. So stay with us on
Happy Halloween.
This portion of the show is presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, and our TV broadcast sponsor is Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Supporting sponsors are DAC Vitamins and Minerals, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip LLC, Piranha, Florida HVAC Services, Crystal Cryo, Ocala Dog Ranch, and The Drinking Post. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference. Horsemen, are you tired of technology that doesn't fit your way of life? LipChip, built by horsemen for horsemen, is ready to revolutionize your world. The answer is in the HoofLink system. Simply implant, scan, and unlock your horse's health information. From driving to Grand Prix jumping, all horses, all breeds, and all disciplines. The future is in the integrity and transparency of all horse sports and in the safety of our horses. The future is here, and the future is LipChip. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
I'm Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show and Equus Television here at Peterson Smith Equine Hospital in Complete Care with Dr. Adam Kayott. And we're going to talk a little bit about drug testing, specifically really in racing, but also obviously in other competition horses where it's required. Dr. Kayott, drug testing in horses, quite a big subject.
Yeah, wade into the mud here a little bit. So obviously drug testing, we want to make sure, certainly in racing, we want to make sure that it's obviously a sport that is bet on, and where there's wagering, you want to make sure that it's fair, right? You want to make sure that it's fair, and one horse doesn't have a significant advantage over another horse, or an artificial advantage. That's where that comes from. That's the, unfortunately we have to do that just to make sure that everything is level across the board. So what we're looking for typically in our drug testing for basically any competition, whether it be racing or showing or whatever, is drugs that would enhance this horse's performance. Typical things: non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, steroids, anabolic steroids, that's what you look for, muscle relaxers, things that are going to help this horse perform better than it would without those things. A lot of times in show horses, you'll look for tranquilizers. Shows that horses that will be a little bit more laid back and relaxed than they would normally. That's not allowed. As well as your Bute, Banamine, steroids, any of those things that could help the horse feel better. So certainly in racing, they have the veterinarians there. They typically will pull blood, get urine, and then it's sent to a certain lab. Through the horse show scene, they, USEF, United States Equestrian Federation, typically, or the horse show contracts a designated drug tester, and obviously it's random at the horse show. Anybody can be tested. Typically, it is in racing as well, but typically your winners are tested, obviously, because that's what you worry about. So those are the things that are tested. You don't know, not every drug is tested for every time, so that's kind of interesting. You don't know what's going to be tested for. The horse might have had a substance that actually didn't get tested for, and they were able to go through, but that luckily that doesn't happen too much. Testing is very specific. It's able to pinpoint down to the millimeter particles of drug that the horse has metabolized in their system. So it's very hard to get past it, and obviously once it's there, generally a second sample is then retested to confirm that the presence of that drug was there. And obviously, if 2 tests come back positive, then you know it's very unlikely that there was any error. So, depending on the entity or organization, then obviously penalties are handed down from there. Unfortunately, it's what we have to do. If people were all honest and that sort of thing, we wouldn't have to worry about that. But unfortunately, that's not the case all the time. So we do this just to keep the sport and our horses safe and make sure that they're not being exploited almost. So it's a good practice. It's a safe practice. It keeps everybody on the up and up, and generally you don't have to worry about foul play, so to speak.
And that testing, I'm sure, has improved drastically over the years that you've been a veterinarian, I'm sure, where we can pick up things much more specifically and get a much clearer result. Oh yeah,
obviously testing becomes more and more specific. It's always the test. Unfortunately, the bad guys are a lot of times a few steps ahead of the testers, but that's just the game you're going to play. But yeah, at this point, it's very, very, it can get down to the part per million. So it's very sensitive in that regard. And so if a horse tests positive, then it's there. So
right.
They've been given it sometime. And the interesting thing is horses, depending on the horse, they metabolize drugs differently. So one horse that might have been given the same medication X number of days in front of when the horse was tested might not test positive because their metabolism, or they metabolize the drug faster, whereas another horse who metabolizes it slower could still be there at that testing point. So it just kind of depends on the horse, the metabolism of the horse, the amount of medication that was given. All those come into play as to a horse that comes up positive. Certainly horses will, there's nothing wrong with giving a horse some things that they need, if they need maintenance and they need upkeep and that sort of thing, but we want to make sure that those things are given at a point prior to their competition that doesn't really affect them competing during that competition.
So maybe not necessarily counting on the days that it's supposed to metabolize. Give
Right.
yourself some extra window
Right,
in
yeah.
case your horse is a horse
that's always good,
Yeah.
because if you have a horse that's particularly slow metabolizer, then the window that they give us might be a little bit outside the window of your horse. So
Right.
just be aware of that. People ask me all the time, well, how long does it take? Well, the textbooks say this takes 72
Right, but the
hours,
horse might not have read the
horse
book.
might not have read the book.
He
so
might
just
not
be
have read the
careful.
book, yes. Makes sense, yes. Thank you, Dr. Adam Kayott here at Peterson Smith Equine Hospital in Complete Care. I'm Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show. Dr. Kayott, you're always so good to be on the show and take the time to chat to us. Focusing a little bit on the drug testing just because we're coming up on such an important weekend in racing, which is really the culmination of racing for the entire year, and it's definitely the best of the best. So I'm going to remind you again about our very special Breeders' Cup coverage you'll be able to catch on Equus Television starting tomorrow. In the next few days, we'll be airing as many interviews as we could possibly capture in the time that we had from the pre-entries through really today. But then we've got the entire list at the end for you of all the connections that we are aware of that Ocala Marion County each year for the big stakes races always has so many grads that either went through Ocala Breeder Sales or trained in a farm here or consigned here and get their start in the Ocala Marion County area.
And where is it?
It is at Santa Anita, and it's actually celebrating
What
its
state?
40th year, California.
California.
Yeah, it's actually in California 2 years, and then it goes back to Kentucky. So it's Santa Anita this year, Del Mar next year, and then the year after it goes back to Keeneland
See,
again.
I didn't know it
So,
traveled.
forget, rotates around those 3 locations. So it's Santa Anita this time. And we're actually very sad to mention that Arcangelo is actually scratched from the race. It was very exciting to see him win the Belmont this year. Very first female trainer, Jenna Antonucci, to ever win the Belmont Stakes, and he was going to be in the Classic, but he actually had kicked a stall wall this week and injured his leg. So he is resting, and hopefully we'll see him back next year with lots more to come from him. And they're very sadly, Practical Move passed away in training this morning, so we're very sad to hear that. That was a Dr. Eisenman trainee, so prayers and thoughts out to them. But we'll be closely watching this over the next few days and over the weekend, and sharing lots of more positive and exciting news for the Ocala-Marion County Connections. We're coming back, and we've got Betty and Kathy with us from Stirrups and Strides Therapeutic Riding Centre, and we're going to be talking about their wonderful program and their amazing event coming up that's always so much fun and such a great cause. We'll be right back after this break.
This portion of the show is presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, and our TV broadcast sponsor is Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Supporting sponsors are DAC Vitamins and Minerals, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip LLC, Piranha, Florida HVAC Services, Crystal Cryo, Ocala Dog Ranch, and The Drinking Post. At Crystal Cryo, you can relax and enjoy a non-invasive cryo skin facial. Reduce fine lines and wrinkles and tighten the skin. Improve texture and tone. Stimulate collagen production. Reduce inflammation and acne. And increase blood flow to the skin, resulting in a more youthful, radiant appearance. And it all takes only about 30 minutes. Boost your confidence now and set up a consultation. Find Crystal Cryo at crystalcryo.net or on social media. Experience the ultimate in relaxation and rejuvenation. Pamper and revitalize your body, mind, and spirit at Crystal Cryo.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care seeks to be a leading international veterinary practice that provides state-of-the-art veterinary care to their patients while fostering professional relationships with their clients that stand the test of time. For 24/7 and the best in equine care, check out Peterson and Smith at petersonsmith.com or like them on Facebook now for more information.
Does your farm need a facelift? Has the harsh Florida climate left your barns, stable doors, and fences stained? J&S Pressure Washing has a professional team who can exceed your expectations and restore your farm to its former glory. Get rid of dust and cobwebs that can cause allergies and health issues for horses, and keep your horses safe by limiting fire hazards in the barn. J&S Pressure Washing can clean your house, your barns, your fences, and your driveway, and you can count on dependable and professional services. For more information, call Stephen at 352-502-5355.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor, Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Oh, she wouldn't let me do it.
He didn't wear a costume.
I did. It's the horseman's head.
Louisa Martin here with Dancing Pete Roder from Complimentary Horsemanship and our special, very beautifully clad guests in the studios. I have Betty and Kathy Gray here from Stirrups and Strides Therapeutic Riding Center. Thank you for being with us, both of you.
Thank you for having us.
You look lovely. I know we're doing like a double duty here because we have costumes for Halloween, which today is October 31st, and then we also have costumes for your very special event coming up.
Absolutely.
And what event is that?
Well, it's called Bootleggers, Jackpots, and Jazz.
Wow.
And it is our biggest fundraiser of the year to help provide funds for our therapeutic riding program.
And we have a little poster
Oh,
right
wow.
here.
Yeah. Yes.
Bootleggers, Jackpots, and Jazz, December 2nd. And you can reserve a table.
Yep.
With some sponsorships available.
Absolutely.
It's always fun and always has a wonderful theme.
Well, this year is really going to be the best theme yet, I think. It's going to be a speakeasy 1920s casino night, and you have a password to get in with your tickets. So if you don't have your password, forget it. You don't get in.
You're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
And so it's a speakeasy feel.
Do you know what
And
that is?
I do.
Okay.
Is she old enough for that?
I don't know.
I'm not
Well, no,
old
she's
enough.
from England. They probably didn't have those.
Yes.
They did have red coats, though, by the way. Did I mention that? So there's a little difference with the event this year, and it's normally under the covered arena at the farm. But this year,
It's at the Mary Sue Rich Community Center right here in Ocala, and it's owned by Parks and Recreation. It's only been open since January. It's a beautiful facility, and we have all 3 ballrooms together. They opened all the doors. Casino at one end, buffet at one end. They have a stage. We got Charleston dancers coming, and they're going to perform the Charleston and teach anyone. We have a dance floor coming, and so anyone wants to learn the Charleston.
do you know the Charleston dancing, Pete?
Yeah, I can
Okay.
do the Charleston.
All right, you better be out there then, boy.
Oh, you'll have to twist my arm to get out on the dance.
And then we'll have other dancing also. And it's, oh my God, it's just going to be such a fun night. We got lots of silent auctions.
I always love the silent
Yeah.
auctions. I always end up bidding on something wonderful.
Oh, yes, we got some really good things this year, and they're still coming in, and we still need more. And we still have more tickets to sell, but they're going. And we have a photo booth, so when you come in, there's a photo booth to get your pictures with your flapper dresses.
Flapper dresses.
And your,
I already ordered mine.
and your
I did.
gangster outfit, Pete.
Can you manage that? Do you need help with the
I might need
costume?
help
He
with the
could be
gangster.
the FBI guy that comes and raids the casino and the
Don't give
and
away
the liquor.
my costume now.
So
So the reason that we really, really encourage you to get involved in this event is because this is their biggest, as Betty said, it's their biggest fundraiser of the year, and it benefits the Stirrups and Strides riding program. And if you have not been around therapeutic riding, you've missed out, because just seeing the children in school when they see any horse, even kids that don't have disabilities, the change in children and adults when they get around horses is amazing. It's incredible. So seeing your program in action, where you're working with children and adults with different disabilities, whether they be physical or emotional or whatever they may be.
Who's that rider?
Who's
I
that
don't
wonderful
know.
rider?
That must be
might be
Kathy.
Kathy, yeah. Just seeing the results of that has to be so rewarding for you.
it is so rewarding. And we also have 8 horses down at the Hillcrest School for the exceptional students right here in Ocala.
Might be a 9th one at the moment.
It might be a 9th. I think there is now one more down there. And we have 15 horses up at our Orange Lake facility. And we're very excited. Our facility is a big covered arena. And we've just got such a wonderful place. And we have a big trail course. In fact, you can see our arena right there with some of our riders. And we just see miracles happen every day. Every day there's something that just amazes me that happens.
So for those of us that know what goes on in therapeutic riding, but there might be people out there that don't know what you do, what kind of program, if I came with the disability, what would you help me with, and what could help?
All right, let's say you came and you have MS or you've had a stroke. We have a Hoyer lift that can put you on the horse, and it will help you with your balance, your posture, trunk control, neck control. All of a sudden, we have quite a few adults that have had strokes.
Yes, ma'am.
And it provides them, they just get so much stronger. And then you have the autistic children, there, I think like 1 in 3 children these days is autistic.
It has on the spectrum somewhere,
it's
right?
Somewhere, and they learn cognitively how to follow directions. I've heard a child say his first word, his horse's name, for the very first word.
Wow.
I mean,
that must be really powerful for them.
oh my gosh. I have this one story from this girl that started with me years ago, and she got off the horse and she said to me, "Do you own all these horses?" And I said, "Well, yes, it belongs to the program." And her mother almost was in tears because it's the first complete sentence she'd ever said.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Isn't that amazing?
That is great.
I've got some wonderful stories with the autistic children. I mean, just fantastic. And
the changes are miraculous.
Every day you see improvements on so many of them.
So how did you get started with this?
Well, I helped start the very first program back in 1983. Kathy was kicked in the head by a horse when she was 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
And she was in a coma for over a month. We brought her home semi-comatose. They didn't even know if she would walk again. She had to start over from a newborn baby. But as soon as she could sit up in front of me on a horse, I got her back up on a horse.
Yes, ma'am.
And all of a sudden, she could sit up better. She could focus better. I mean, I just saw so many improvements that I just knew we had to do something for other people, because the doctors back then in 1980, was it? Oh my God, she's really old.
And you're her mom, so that makes you younger, doesn't it?
I think I was 15 when I had her.
Yeah, that's right. That's the story I'd tell.
And but the doctors didn't know if she would be in a wheelchair the rest of her life. They could tell me if she survived, and they gave her less than 50%. Her head was cracked like an egg of surviving. And they told me they know that she would be semi-paralyzed or paralyzed on her left side. She would have no left peripheral vision with either eye, which she doesn't. She sees straight ahead and to the right. So she does some falling here and there. And
but she's a brave miracle, aren't you?
Oh my God, she is my miracle, and she just inspires me every day and I have helped so many people and seen so many miracles.
Through the horses.
Through the horses, and the whole focus of our life, my husband's and my life, is changed with Kathy.
Wow,
amazing!
I mean, it just changed. It's
incredible how you took something that was such a terrible situation for you and turned that around into not just a miracle for your daughter, but a miracle for so many.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Woo-hoo.
Folks, before I cry, we're going to have to go to break, but please check out this event, get your tickets, sponsor, get involved any way you can to help keep this program going. It's so wonderful. I want to thank Betty and Kathy both for being here with us today. Check out Bootleggers, Jackpots, and Jazz, and join us for some dancing with this one. We'll be back in just a minute with Julie Bartoli.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever heard of a horse that can talk? Listen to this. With your host, Louisa Barton. She's literally in love with every horse. Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. She's back in the saddle again. And now, here's your host,
Pretty,
Louisa Barton! She's a Brit, she's got the gift of the gab, and her guests are fab.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Hey there, horsemen. Are you tired of technology that doesn't fit your way of life? Lip Chip is ready to revolutionize your barn. Built by horsemen, for horsemen. LipChip knows how you ride. If you're tired of carrying around paperwork, dealing with long trailer lines, and juggling all your horse's details while trying to compete, then the answer is the HoofLink system. Simply implant, scan, and unlock. Each scan reveals everything you need to work, compete, and to protect your horses. View current health paperwork, pre-register for your next event, and even check in on your horse's health. Horsemen, let's keep our horses safe and make our lives at the barn a little easier. The future is here, and the future is LipChip. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and service hassle-free and easier than ever with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
The Equine Performance and Innovative Centre, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centres for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specialising in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the second half of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the studio with dancing Pete Roda from Complimentary Horsemanship in his costume.
Well, let me tell you, Pilgrim. There, I'm John Wayne.
Oh, good.
I'm closer to John Wayne than you are a British soldier, pirate.
High roll. Anyway, we're thrilled to have a very special guest here in the studio with us for this segment, and we have Julie Bartoli here, and she is with It's All About You Photography. Julie, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, I want to thank you for your generosity and assistance in helping us get some of the nicest photographs, which we're going to share with you in this segment, that I think we've ever had of our events. It was lovely to have... to know that at the end of the day, I knew I had Isaac droning and Kylie and he were videoing, but getting photos is something at the end of the day I always wish I had better ones. And you did such a lovely job. And this is Eric here from the...
I'm Eric. That's my costume.
Freeze that one for a minute, Isaac. This is Eric and his Appaloosa. And he is such a cool guy. He is actually with Spirit Equine Therapy, and they work with veterans, and he's a veteran himself.
And he's a character.
And he's a character. And this captures him and his horse. So, because that's him. That expression, that's him. And you just caught it exactly. You don't know him, so you don't know that. But you did. And so I can just, that's good, Isaac. Thank you.
And that's his horse,
photo.
too.
That really is
She
his
caught
horse.
his horse just
I know.
right,
And then
too.
this is Lizzie. This is the granddaughter of Nick and Jackie Demerick, who brought her horse out to do a little jumping demo. And I sent these photos to Jackie the other day and said, aren't these beautiful? She went, oh, because she didn't get, as many photos as she wanted.
Right.
So people are just loving what you do. Tell us how you capture all this so well, like be in the right place at the right time. And...
Well, honestly, I'm not really an equine photographer. So I happened to, and I don't know much about horses either. So I was there just like everybody else, just
to enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoying it. And at a little bit after everything was being taken, I was like, okay, I think I'm getting the hang of it, and this might be where they're off to next. So I just was able to quickly prepare myself for some of those shots
And it was great
And I was
because you
gonna
look at
say,
this, what a great
To
action
get
shot.
shots around Louisa, that's amazing that you know where she's going to be next.
That's why we had map and program.
Yeah.
And Isaac designed.
Right.
Yeah, I look pretty serious there. Looks like I must have been announcing something fairly
Hey, you
important
caught
there.
her just right.
Talking. Imagine
Talking,
that.
yeah.
Talking on a microphone. Not me. Surely not. So what did you think of the event?
It was awesome.
Wasn't it?
I mean, for me, I've ridden a horse one time in my life. I took one other equine photography event before, so I hadn't really had much experience. But this event, I mean, it was very fun. It was family friendly, which that's kind of more my ball game. So, but it was just fantastic, and the turnout was amazing. The
got to
kids,
see the kids having a
were
blast.
so involved. It was fantastic.
Did
They
you
were-
get pictures of the stick horse stuff?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, look at this.
Oh,
now,
here we go.
these were the serious girls. These girls here were in it to win it. These girls were staying, and they stayed until the end of the day. We had quite a crew for the end of the day for the
Yes.
polo still going strong, still determined to win trophies. It was really neat, though, that you caught this because we pinned them with ribbons, just the way they
Yes.
pin with ribbons in a horse show, 1 through 6, and they all went up to get pinned with their ribbons, and they had brought their own stick horses. They had actually prepared ahead and brought their own stick horses, which was really cool. But they were serious. They were stayers. They were still there at the end. I know there's Bubbles, who will
Bubbles.
be with us next week on the show. And he was having a good time with our key kind of educators from elementary,
Yes.
middle, and high. And he out-jumped them, as you can see. Number 72, he was killing it. But you really caught some of the most, I mean, this is beautiful here. These two ladies, I mean, just
Yeah.
decked out.
And that was right in between one child going from the next. Yeah, so I'm always
Wow,
attentive
action shots.
to
Yeah.
what's going on, but also I try to look around. That way I make sure I get everything.
And the Florida Horse Park is an amazingly beautiful venue, but it's big. You know, it's 500
Yes.
acres. We don't use the whole 500 acres, obviously, but we use a very large area between the demo pen and the arena, and it's kind of all spread out, and then the vendor village and the horses. So you really kind of had to be everywhere, but you really were able to get little pieces of everything.
Yes, thank you.
That's really amazing. So what do you take mostly pictures of?
So I am a versatile photographer. So I do lifestyle, so that'll be families, couples, weddings. I already said that one. I also do business, and that could
Business
be
photos like headshots and things?
yes,
Yep.
people in action. Business branding is just as important as headshots.
Yep.
And then also events of all types, family reunions. Yep.
Yeah.
And then I've done real estate and then equine photography.
Wow.
I just started the weddings, which is a whole different ball game, but it's been so much fun.
So you're kind of expanding out to the equine world, and you've sort of proven right here with your wonderful photos from the Hobby Horse Games and these other photos that you sent us that you are you're working your way into the equine world.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
And that's really awesome.
Yeah.
And you're if you want to learn, you know, I know about this show called the Horse Talk Show. You know, we have lots of equine related information on it
Yes.
that would probably be very helpful for you if you want to learn more and meet wonderful equine
Yes.
folks while you're here in the studio with us. So.
I still love her name. All About Me photography. I love it. Oh, I mean, it's all about me.
You know
oh,
what?
I love this.
You know what's really cool is she obviously is all about whatever she's focused in on the event.
Right.
And
all
I
about
saw
me.
that.
That's what I like about it. All about me.
All about you. I didn't see any pictures that she took of you.
I noticed.
I got one.
You got one.
I didn't see it up.
Oh. Well, you did an amazing job, and you see yourself aspiring to do more equine.
Yes, in the future.
Wonderful.
And how do we get a hold of you if we wanted
Good
to?
question.
Yeah.
Dancing.
So I'm on social media. My social media is all period about period you period 352, and then my website is www.allaboutyou352.com.
Wonderful. So folks can find you and book you and have you at their event, and then you'll like this share wonderful photos with us.
I see you came on the show, and I think you already got an event.
Sounds like it.
That would be wonderful. We would love to see more of your work. We really appreciate you being at the Hobby Horse Equestrian Games. And look,
No, that's Dancing Pat, not Dancing Pete.
It's close. Did I tell you what happened with this?
No.
When Pat Myers arrived the morning of the Hobby Horse Equestrian Games event, I already knew, he had told me ahead of time that he was dressing up as Pete, but Pete didn't know that he was dressing up as Pete. And he had this almost the exact shirt and the hat and the whole look. And actually, he even sent me pictures of him when he was trying on the clothes. And he was in there with his wife and they were picking out the clothes. So I knew all of this was happening. So Pat Myers from Pat Myers Electric walks up to me, and he's probably about as far away from me as Betty is right now in the studio. And I went, "Hey, Pete." And then I went,
How funny.
"That's not Pete." And I even knew he was dressed. That's how good that this. And if you're watching on Facebook or you're watching us on TV, you can see Pat Myers from Pat Myers Electric dressed up as Dancing Pete.
So there was 2 good-looking cowboys at the event.
Only Pete would say such a thing. He should have dressed up as Pat Myers tonight. I told him that already. Julie, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for
We really
having
appreciate
me.
you. I hope we can have you every year at the event. You did a phenomenal job. Check her out. It's all about you photography here in Ocala. Julie with us, and we're coming right back with, guess what? Pat Myers from Pat Myers Electric.
Woohoo!
Stay with us.
Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equigreen, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
My name is Dr. Natalie Solomon. I formulated Equigreen with cutting-edge science and technology alongside the passion that is represented by a lifelong love of horses. I created a product that I would trust for my horses because they deserve nothing but the best for their bodies. Horses rely on us to take care of them, to love them, to respect them. This is how Equigreen came to life. Equigreen, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
Does your farm need a facelift? Has the harsh Florida climate left your barns, stable doors, and fences stained? J&S Pressure Washing has a professional team who can exceed your expectations and restore your farm to its former glory. Get rid of dust and cobwebs that can cause allergies and health issues for horses, and keep your horses safe by limiting fire hazards in the barn. J&S Pressure Washing can clean your house, your barns, your fences, and your driveway, and you can count on dependable and professional services. For more information, call Steven at 352-502-5355.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
All right, we're back with Mr. Electric, Pat Myers. Okay, we're walking through the barn and we're just stopping and talking. So here's one of the things we found on our first walk and stop.
So we've got an area here, looks like a feed room. This is kind of a feed area. All right, so we got a couple things. Up here in the rafters, we notice we got Romex wire, which is generally is used for residential use only, inside your walls in your house. And it's installed outside, or what we are gonna consider a damp location. It's definitely not meant for this location. And this is a perfect example of why. I mean, no matter how clean you keep your barn, whatever the case is, there's always opportunity for, squirrels or mice or things to get in and chew on the wire. And that's why we always have our wire in conduit, because that's that next level of protection. They can bite on it, they can try their hardest, but they're not going to get in there. With Romex wire, it's just a coating of plastic around the wires, and they have full access to it. They can just gnaw on it till their heart's content. So it's one of those things that when we see it, that's immediately something we want to address to get covered up, to get sealed up so that it's installed correctly.
So in the house, how do we prevent rodents? I guess you guys should put it in something, because rodents get into the walls.
Into the walls too. So that's, there's always that chance.
Right.
That can happen. We always suggest that people have a pest control person. They're putting things in place. If they hear something, say something. It's always trying to keep the maintenance on the property up so that you don't have those problems. You always want to, like I said, have a pest control guy. If you hear something, call them, because we want to get ahead of those problems. Because once they get in and start feasting, it's like a buffet for them. They're just going to keep eating.
See, I didn't even think about that. Like rodents or hear something, squirrels, to think, I need to be worried about my electricity. That's a huge tip.
It's a huge thing, and people think, I take care of, I have a pest control guy for bugs, which is great. We need it in Florida. It's something we need. But we also need to make sure we're keeping those other pests out of the house, because they can do some damage. And like I said, once they get going, they can cause a lot of damage to the electrical system. Not to mention, they're putting you in danger of causing a fire, because that electrical equipment is damaged at that point. So
great tip.
Important.
Great tip. All right, let's go keep walking.
Let's keep walking. All right, let's take a look. Okay, let's take a look. So, it's a good brand. It's the right type of panel for this location. This is actually a climate controlled area. It's completely enclosed. So this is the right type of panel. If you have an outdoor area with a panel, that's totally okay, but we want to make sure it is a weather rated panel. This is installed correctly. It's flush with the wall. It's a square D. We call it a Homeline style panel. Great brand. All the brands match in here. Looks like you don't have much load for what the barn is, and we got 100 amps out here. So for a barn this size, perfect. This is exactly what you want, and it's the label. Everything is labeled correctly. It's nice and clear, so at any moment, any electrician can walk in and take a look and say, okay, if there's a problem, I'm going to take a look and be able to see where these circuits go. So super important, not just for the owners, but for the people who are doing maintenance on the property as well, to see a panel done like this. That's a huge plus.
Good.
So
yay,
good shape. Good shape, yeah.
Now, would you test that if you were in to inspect it to make sure all the things are up to specs?
So generally what we do when we come in and we've gone through all of our regular stuff, what we generally do is pull the panel cover and look at all the connections, make sure all the connections are tight. And then we take an amp reading on the whole system. We'll turn on all the lights, all the fans, all the things that you use during normal operation. And our electrical meter, we can clamp on the main feeds, and it'll tell us how much it's drawing just during regular operations. So we're making sure that you're not in danger of exceeding that, or do you need to upgrade a little bit, or are you in good shape? Most times with a barn this size, 100 amps is going to be just fine, because you're not using everything all the time. It's kind of, you may use like the laundry room for a couple hours, and then that load drops off. You may use the fans during the day, but not at night. And the lights aren't on all the time. So it kind of balances itself out. So
good to know.
A on the panel here.
Good.
Looking good.
Bathroom.
All right.
We got
So-
one outlet.
Okay, yeah. All right, so here's an important tip. So
We're in the bathroom together, Pat.
We're in the bathroom, yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah,
This
now
is important though, right?
We're getting some business done now. Here we go. So there is a GFCI outlet in this bathroom. The important thing, and a lot of people don't realize that just like most pieces of equipment, it needs to be tested. And realistically, our manufacturers tell us we're supposed to test it every month. Now, most people don't test it every month. But if you own a facility like this and you see a GFCI outlet and you walk by it, just test it out. And the easiest way to test it is there's a test button and a reset button. You press that test button, it should click to the off position. You hit the reset button. If it resets, it's in good shape. It's running the way it should. If you hit the test button and nothing happens when you go to reset it, then it's probably time to replace it.
All right, all you, because you're
All
the
right, here we go.
professional.
We're gonna hit the test button. That's a good trip. Reset, and you see we have a little indicator light here too that tells us it's on right now, it's off, it's on. The tricky part about these things is they normally fail in the on position. So that outlet should be protecting other outlets down the line. And if it fails in the on position, those other outlets will continue to work. You may not know that that outlet's broken until you go ahead and test it. So when you test it and it doesn't reset, it may look like you have protection, but you're not.
So you need to replace it.
So it's time to replace
Call
it.
Mr. Electric.
Pat Myers Electric.
There
Give it
you
a
go.
call. Yeah.
All right, let's head it to the back of the barn.
Let's look.
All right, we've gone to the back of the barn. We have an outlet. We have an RV hookup for where I live in my trailer. So,
okay.
Tell me what you see. What you're gonna tell us?
So we have this is a standard 30 amp RV outlet. The first thing I noticed, the cover's missing. We want to make sure these covers are called in-use covers because that's exactly what they're meant for. They're meant to be able to be closed while it's in use, while you have something plugged into it. Now we know we talked about extension cords, but we have this cord here for the RV. This cord is actually UL listed for this use. So it's okay to have this. They've actually meant it to be heavy duty. It's built big enough to support the load and most times a little bit over so that it's taken care of. It's meant to be left outside. It's meant for this use. So I'm not concerned with this as much. We do want to get a cover on this to make sure that no rain's getting in while it's plugged in because we get rain here in Florida. So making sure this is all covered up. The other thing I noticed, this is what that cover looks like. This in-use cover looks like. So it's covered. However, we're in an outdoor location and we have a standard outlet in place.
Whoops.
Yeah, this should be a GFCI so that we can make sure that if water does get into this circuit, no one's in danger of getting hurt.
We got it in the bathroom, but we don't have it out here.
Right.
Okay.
So this is what we consider a damp or a wet location. So we always want to have GFCI protection in those places.
All right. What about what I spend extra money on to have one of these?
So a surge protector?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. We have a lot of storms in Florida, and it's not just storms. It can be anything. A surge can come directly from the power company. It can come from a storm. It can come from multiple different ways. So my view on it is that there's never enough surge protection. You always want to protect your property. You want to protect your equipment. So if you have surge protection, that's always a plus. It's now also a code for residential homes to have surge protection in their panels. You have to have it. So it's one of the things that is put in place by our code books to make sure that people's equipment in their property is safe. And realistically, you should be doing that in your barn too, because it's the same thing. Right. We have equipment, we have barns, we have fly spray systems, we got, if you got a hot walker, whatever you have, you want to make sure you've spent good money on that to make sure your horses are taken care of. You want to make sure you're taking care of those products.
And then how long can I make this to my trailer? I know somebody told me, I said, well, shoot, I can park my trailer anywhere. I'll just keep running cord.
I mean, you can. You can do it. We have to always take into consideration voltage drop. So the further away you get from the source where that power is coming from, your voltage drops down and drops down and drops down. So you want to make sure that you're either, you know, making the wire size larger so you can handle more voltage or more power, or you need to keep it closer. So the closer it is to the source, the better off you be. You get a cleaner power that way.
Very good. All right. Well, did some RV stuff. We could probably do more, but hey, we're at the barn. Hopefully that will help you guys. Thanks again for Pat Myers Electric and Pat for coming out. We appreciate you.
Always a pleasure.
And we'll see you on next time.
Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equigreen, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center. The Equine Performance and Innovative Center, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centers for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media.
This show was brought to you in part by TT Distributors, dedicated to bringing their customers the largest selection of quality horse supplements, products, and farrier supplies in Florida at affordable prices. Also online at ttdistributors.com.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the studio with my co-host Dancing Pete Roeder from Complimentary Horsemanship, and special guest, we have Michelle Montgomery here with us from Copper Cure. It's lovely to have you back in Ocala.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
Spent a little bit of time with you today with Frosty. Really thrilled to see some incredible results already with your husband, Jack Montgomery.
Definitely.
Master farrier, who did such a beautiful job on the Lamanitic pony. We think he's a pony. Or a mini or something.
Mini pony.
He's a mini
cute,
pony
though.
or something.
He's very
He really
cute.
is. And he knew he was being helped today, for sure. There's absolutely no
Definitely.
doubt. We're going to touch a little bit on these products here in just a minute, but we're going to start with Dancing Pete Roeder's Horsemanship Tip of the Week.
Dancing Pete's Tip of the Week, brought to you by Complimentary Horsemanship.
What you
All
got?
right, our tip of the week.
I know what the tip of the week is. Get a really good farrier. It matters.
Well, that's what I was going to go with, farrier prep. I could do that. I'll give you two quick ones. So when you're buying jeans, take your inseam and add 4 inches so it stacks on your boots. That way when you sit down, you don't look like you have high waters. And when you get in the saddle, it doesn't look like it goes up. So cowboys know this. So when you get on the saddle and you see somebody's jeans go up in the air when they get in the saddle, you know they don't understand stacking their jeans.
Dancing Pete Roeder got new jeans. Are you going to stand up and show them?
Oh, I'll show you my
He didn't wash them either, thank God. I mean,
See,
like everybody
I
washes
buy my
them.
jeans.
Yeah. See that?
They don't look. People go, what kind of material is that? I said, that's jean material. It doesn't look like it. I said, it's because it's not washed.
That's right.
Most jeans you buy are 8 times washed or more.
Wow.
So that.
Look at that. That's a tip of the week on its own.
There you go.
How about that? Now we've got Ocala Dog Ranch. We got Horse Talk Show going to the dogs. The Horse Talk Show goes to the dogs at Ocala Dog Ranch.
Neil Hennessy, Ocala Dog Ranch. Daycare. Consider putting your dog in daycare a couple days out of the week. Break up the routine for the dog and for you. Dog gets out, gets some exercise, meets some doggy friends, and has a good time for the day. Find a facility that's close to you that does daycare. Neil Hennessy, Ocala Dog Ranch.
Neil Hennessy, what a great guy. And actually just a week or so, a little bit more than a week ago, I had a situation where I thought somebody was going to take my dog for a walk, the one that has the torn cruciate, and they actually weren't. Breakdown in communication somewhere there, but they were not going. And Neil pointed out to me, don't ever not call me when you have an event and you don't think you can get home, because there's daycare and there's boarding, and you know it's getting taken care of. So Ocala Dog Ranch, where they don't just board your dogs, they love on them and take really, really good care of all of their needs, whatever that may be, whether that's, therapeutic walks like Aslan needs. So good point for me. Lesson learned. Next time I have a major event and I know I'm busy for 3 days, guess where my dogs are going? Ocala Dog Ranch. Yes. So thank you, Neil, for a very good point there made and taken. So this product is amazing.
Yes.
You have seen some incredible results. Michelle, tell us a little bit what sets this apart, Copper Cure, apart from other products.
Yes. So when my husband and I came up with these products about 7 years ago, we wanted products that were all natural, that weren't going to have synthetic materials in them. Dogs like to eat horse hoofs, right? You don't want to send a dog to an emergency room.
Good point. Oh my
there's
gosh,
a lot of stuff
yes.
going on like that. So after a lot of trials and errors, he came up with this perfect formula that really, really worked and helped. And we saw drastic improvement in horses. So we were at a client's barn, and she's like, you really need to market this. You need to get it out there. And our first thought was, we'll just sell it to, our friends and family and horse farms. And then as it started growing, we started having stores calling us saying, hey, can we buy this and put it in our brick and mortar stores? So that's when we became a wholesale company, and we started manufacturing it.
That's wonderful. I love that, and it's such a great product. And you've got both the bottle here, which is the Hoof Resurrect.
Yes.
I like this. Let the blue keep your horse's hoofs healthy for you. That's nice, right? And then this one packs really well in and stays in really well. You can put it in the crevices and the frog, and it really stays
in and really soaks up into the hoof. So.
And what exactly does it do, so that we?
So what it does,
for those that don't know what this is for.
It combats white line disease, fungus, gets rid of that bacteria in the hoof, so the natural hoof can grow down and
so many
have
products.
sound horses.
Yes, and Jack pointed this out to me today. So many products that are effective take away the bad, but they also take away the good at the same time, and you don't want that, because then you're fighting the actual problem. You're taking away the goodness. So this product doesn't take away the goodness while treating the badness. So that was a very
down to mouthwash.
Yeah,
you get rid of the bad bacteria, but you also get rid of the good bacteria.
Right. So this is a product that you can be assured is helping to retain the good parts. So that's really
and
important.
if you get it on your hands, you're not having to run to the sink because it's burning your hands. You don't have to worry about that stuff. Now, don't want to get in your eye because it is salt and it's going to burn.
Right, absolutely. Yes.
I ran with a vet that used to, when people use copper tox, he goes, why are you using something you wouldn't put on your skin?
Exactly.
Yeah, I know,
exactly, right?
I know,
Our horses are our pets and our family too, and we want to protect them as much as we want to protect ourselves.
That is absolutely spot on.
So these two are mine.
You are more than welcome.
So a few quick reminders, because we're going to have to wrap it up soon, but don't forget we've got the golf tournament for Piranha this week. So if you're listening on Saturday, you missed it, but there's always next year.
Country Club of Ocala.
Yep, November
Ted Potter.
3rd. Wonderful charities are going to be benefiting from the Piranha Family Foundation Benefit Golf Tournament. We have the Horse Farms Forever Summit coming up November 16th. Don't forget about that. Get signed up for that. That's $40 a ticket, so you can learn about conserving the panther, the Florida panther, and other conversations about conservation. I can
Wow.
do it. I can do it.
That's
I can
impressive.
Do it. Yes, I can do it. Horse Farms Forever. That's November 16th, 5 to 7. Many eyes go through the meadow, but there's the flowers, very important. Don't forget Stirrups and Strides has their huge fundraiser of the year, their big event, and don't show up at the barn this year because it's not at the barn. It's at the Mary Sue Rich Center, and dress up in your flapper dress, or, well, if you're a guy, you don't have to wear a dress. But girls can wear their flapper dresses, guys can wear whatever sort of 20s-ish.
1920s.
That's right, bootleggers, jackpots, and jazz, and you'll get a little code, like the speakeasy code to get in, your password, and
Yeah,
make
you
sure
can't say
get involved.
20s anymore.
20s?
Yeah, because if you say 20s now, you could show up in rap clothes or.
Yeah, you're right. The 20s. We should definitely emphasize the 1920s.
1920s.
Don't forget OHA's Pet of the Week. We need to get a home for dear Grady, who is very, very sweet and definitely needs a home. And I just love his face. What is my four-legged problem? I have a big four-legged problem. Next week, we're very excited. We have Heather and Jeremy Reynolds are going to be here in the studio with us. They're like the top endurance racers in, I'm going to say the world, because I think it's fair to say they've won in Italy and multiple other places. They win the Tevis almost every year. They've had amazing adventures, and they're going to share lots of their stories with us. We're going to have a special mini-series coming with them. We're going to go to their farm and meet their horses, and I might even get to ride one of them, which would be really cool. And so that's a mini-series coming up, but they're going to be back in Ocala next week, and their first stop is in here to see us and do a live segment with us or two.
That
so we're very
sound
excited.
means-
Yes, it's wrap-up time. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Jack, we're going to have lots of Jack Montgomery sharing lots of information about hoofs and issues that horses have and how we can solve them. So get your copper cure. We'll be back next week, whether you're in Ocala, Marion County, the horse capital of the world or not. Happy horsing around till the same time next week.
See ya.